Today we're going to discuss formal structures of American local governments. Formal structure and the rules of government help determine who gets what in the local arena. Formal rules are largely shaped by the state. State constitutions and statutes largely determine whether a community may adopt a strong mayor, weak mayor, council manager, or commission form of government. Progressive era reforms sought to weaken old political party machines and allowed for more council manager governments. This presentation is going to cover the different formal structures of local governments, their advantages, and their disadvantages. First, I'd like to cover Dillon's rule and home rule. Dillon's rule concerns state power and the limits on city government. Local governments are considered municipal corporations with only those privileges and powers that are given to them by the state. Dillon's rule denotes a hierarchical, superior subordinate relationship between state governments and its local governments. Powers are delegated to local communities and are strictly interpreted. At the same time, a lot of local communities have what is called home rule. Many states give their cities substantial functional authority under the concept of home rule. Cities have a fair degree of latitude in their spending and taxing powers. Home rule gives cities and counties the power to self govern with greater leeway to undertake a variety of actions without first having to obtain express state permission for each action. Localities can determine their form of government, but states ultimately decide what powers the city does and does not possess. In addition to this, it's important to note that the United States Constitution does not mention local governments. So all of the power that local governments have are strictly a product of what the state governments allow those local governments to do. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the weak mayor system. In this system, the mayor is given few administrative responsibilities. The mayor lacks the power to appoint and dismiss administrative personnel, shares administrative powers with other officials, and lacks control over budget preparation. This form of government is mostly found in smaller communities. The advantage to this system is that it provides safeguards against potential misuse of executive power. The disadvantage is that multiple executives and independent boards and commissions have trouble when it comes to a shared direction and coordination for the community. Shifting to a strong mayor system, in a strong mayor system, the mayor maintains the right to name the heads of various municipal departments and agencies. There are still checks and balances, as the council has the authority to confirm the mayor's appointments. Most large cities have a strong mayor. Strong mayors work better in large cities because uh, there is a need to move quickly to address the city's needs. However, a strong mayor system can infringe on the professionalism of city agencies. Commission governments are concentrated in smaller cities. They include 5 to 9 member city councils or commissions that also serve as the heads of major city departments. In theory, the commission form concentrates the power of government. There is no separation between the legislative and executive branch that can act as a barrier to quick, effective service delivery. In reality, this system is often gridlocked as each commission member tends to represent the narrow view of their individual department. And then finally, the council manager government. The city council or commission appoints a professionally trained manager who is given the responsibility to run the daily affairs of the city. The council enacts new laws, but the administration falls totally in the domain of the city manager. The manager is directly in charge of department heads and supervises their performance. The manager in this system, the mayor in this system is one of the city council members and is ceremonial. They cut ribbons and act only in a ceremonial role. The advantage to this system is that there is a trained professional dealing with the increasingly complex and technical tasks of running a city. The trained executives bring greater efficiency and enhanced performance to the city. This form of government also tends to produce cooperation rather than conflict. The disadvantages of this system include that there can be a reputation of the city to be hostile to city managers, making it difficult to recruit one. There is also a lot of turnover as city managers look to move up and maybe obtain a city manager job at a larger municipality. Finally, political insulation often leads to concerns in the city about the city manager's responsiveness to the public. The formal powers and structure of local governments is spelled out in a city's charter. Each of these formal structures and systems has strengths and weaknesses. Cities have moved away from pure types of government, opting instead to implement hybrids of these structures.